Let's get started with today's story. I'm not the kind of man who snoops, or at least, I wasn't. Ava and I had been together for 5 years, married for 2. We met when we were both in college. She was studying design, I was grinding through mechanical engineering. Opposites, but it worked. She had this spark that made life exciting, while I kept things steady when storms came. Or so I thought. 3 weeks before our second wedding anniversary, Ava's friends threw her a weekend getaway, a girls-only trip to Lakewood. She left on Friday afternoon, all smiles and kisses, promising she'd be back Sunday night. No red flags, not yet. Saturday night, I was home alone, half watching a movie when her laptop chimed from the kitchen. She'd left it open. At first, I ignored it. Then it chimed again, and again. Finally, curiosity won. It was a group chat. Ava and her friends, Daisy, Lauren, and a few others I only knew by name. I shouldn't have read it. I knew that. But something about the laughing emojis, the OMG Ava you wild comments, it pulled me in. And that's when I saw it. Photos, blurry, shaky, like they were taken too quickly. Ava dancing on a table with a shirtless guy behind her. Another shot. Ava sitting on the lap of a man I didn't recognize, holding a drink and smiling wide. Then the messages. Ava, I still can't believe you did that in the bathroom. You're officially a legend, girl. Arthur's got competition now. Arthur. Me. My mouth went dry. I scrolled faster. Buried in the chatter, I found it. Ava admitting, laughing, that she had hooked up with a guy named Lucas. Just once. Just for fun. I stared at the screen for a long moment, then started taking screenshots. Every photo, every message, every piece of proof. I saved them all to a flash drive and emailed copies to myself. Then I closed the laptop and sat there, staring at the wall, everything I thought I knew about my wife breaking apart in my head. And I knew there was no putting it back together. The next morning, Ava came home like nothing had happened. She tossed her duffel bag onto the floor, wrapped her arms around me from behind, and pressed her face into my back. "Missed you," she said, her voice muffled. I nodded, still staring at the coffee I hadn't touched. "Everything good?" she asked, stepping around to face me. I forced a smile. "Yeah. You have fun?" She grinned, pulling out her phone to show me staged photos of the trip. Paddleboarding, bonfires, tourist shots by the lake. No Lucas, no bathroom, no betrayal. I nodded again, saying as little as possible, playing my role, watching her perform hers. When she went to take a shower, I sat there, staring at her phone on the table. The temptation to dig further clawed at me, but I didn't need more proof. I'd seen enough. Instead, I made a plan. While Ava was singing under the hot water, I grabbed a duffel bag and started packing the essentials. Laptop, passport, a few days' worth of clothes, cash from the emergency fund we kept in the kitchen drawer. The smell of her shampoo drifted down the hall. Sweet, familiar. It turned my stomach. I glanced at the wedding photo framed above the TV, us smiling, holding hands, surrounded by everyone we loved. It felt like looking at strangers. Ava called out from the bathroom, cheerful and oblivious. "Hey, want to go grab brunch?" I zipped the duffel shut. "Yeah," I said, loud enough for her to hear. "Just give me a minute." In reality, I was making sure I had everything I needed to disappear. At least for now. I wasn't running away, I wasn't scared. I just refused to give her the satisfaction of a screaming match, of seeing me broken. I would leave quietly, cleanly. Let her figure it out when she stepped out into an empty apartment. Let her sit with the silence. Let her wonder, because if there was one thing I knew for certain now, Ava didn't deserve an explanation. I waited until late afternoon to move. Ava decided to meet Daisy and Lauren for coffee, giving me a 2-hour window. As soon as she left, I carried my bag down to the car, moving like a ghost through our building. Nobody saw me. Nobody stopped me. The whole thing felt wrong but necessary, like pulling a rotten tooth you didn't know was infected until the pain was too much to bear. I left the keys on the kitchen counter. No note, no dramatic message, just silence. Before leaving, I walked through each room once. Bedroom, kitchen, living room, all filled with memories that felt fake now, fabricated. I wasn't sad, I wasn't even angry anymore. I was detached, like I was watching someone else's life crumble from a distance. By the time the sun was dipping behind the hills, I was already halfway to the coast. I booked a cheap motel with cash. It was perfect. I turned my phone off, disconnected from everything, let the quiet settle in around me like armor. For a few hours, I just sat on the edge of the motel bed, staring at the ugly carpet, listening to the hum of the old air conditioner. Then, curiosity got the better of me. I turned my phone back on. 30 missed calls from Ava, 10 voicemails, text after text. "Arthur, where are you? I'm worried. Please call me. This isn't funny. Did something happen?" The longer I scrolled, the angrier the messages became. "If you're mad, we can talk. Don't just leave. At least be a man and tell me if you're walking away." I almost laughed. The woman who had betrayed me now had the audacity to demand my honesty. I turned the phone off again, tossed it onto the nightstand. Outside, a freight train rumbled past in the distance. I laid back on the stiff mattress, hands behind my head, feeling the vibrations under me. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do next, but I knew this much. I wasn't going back. By the second day, the real fallout started. I was eating a stale sandwich from a gas station when the calls started again. Friends, family, even Ava's mother, Caroline, tried to reach me. I ignored them all. But when my brother Ryan called, I picked up. If there was one person I trusted in this mess, it was him. "Arthur, man, where the hell are you?" he asked immediately. His voice was tight, concerned. "I'm fine," I said. "I just need it out." He was quiet for a moment. "Does this have to do with Ava?" "Yeah," I said. "She made her choice. Now I'm making mine." Ryan didn't press. He never did. "Whatever you need, I've got your back." "I know." We talked logistics. He offered to let me crash at his place outside of town, but I told him I needed a few more days alone, to clear my head, to figure out the next move. Before hanging up, Ryan said something that stuck with me. "Don't let her spin the story, Arthur. You stay quiet too long, she'll start telling people what they want to hear." He was right. Ava might have been reckless, but she wasn't stupid. She knew how to play the victim if it meant saving face. I had seen it before. Small things, lies she'd told friends when it suited her. If I let her get ahead of this, I'd be the bad guy, the runaway husband, the heartless monster who abandoned her. That wasn't going to happen. That evening, I sent a short, clear message to the people who mattered. My parents, Ryan, a handful of close friends. Ava was unfaithful during her trip. I found out. I've left. I'm okay. Please respect my space while I sort things out. Along with the message, I attached the photos of her with the other man and the messages from the group chat. Everything anyone needed to see the truth for themselves. No drama, no explanations, just the facts. Then I shut the phone off again. That night, I slept better than I had in months. There's a certain peace that comes with telling the truth, even if it rips your life in half. It didn't take long for Ava to find me. 3 days after I vanished, she showed up at the motel. I heard the knock before I even looked through the peephole. Somehow, I knew it was her. I cracked the door open a few inches. Ava stood there, sunglasses pushed up into her hair, eyes red and swollen. She wore one of my old sweatshirts, the same one she used to steal when we were dating. A prop, maybe. A reminder. Or maybe just desperation. "Arthur," she said, her voice shaking. "Please, can we talk?" I didn't move. "How did you find me?" She hesitated. "Daisy. She tracked your credit card." I smiled thinly. Should have paid in cash everywhere. Against my better judgment, I let her inside. The room felt even smaller with her in it. She didn't waste time. "I know you're mad. I know you feel betrayed. But it was a mistake, Arthur. One stupid night. I was drunk. I didn't mean for anything to happen." I leaned against the dresser, arms crossed, watching her flail. "You didn't mean for anything to happen," I repeated flatly. "Is that what you told Lucas in the bathroom?" Her face crumpled. "I swear to God, Arthur, it didn't mean anything. I love you. You're my husband. You're my life." "Funny way of showing it," I said. She stepped closer, reaching out like she wanted to touch me. I stepped back. "You don't get to play the victim, Ava," I said, voice calm but sharp enough to cut. "You made your choices. Now you live with them." Tears spilled down her face. Real ones, maybe. I didn't care. "I'll do anything," she whispered. "Counseling. Apologize to everyone. Move. Quit my job. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you." I shook my head slowly. "You don't understand," I said. This isn't about fixing something broken. It's about knowing it was fake to begin with. For a long moment, she just stood there, shaking, crying, trying to find some way back that didn't exist. Finally, I opened the door. "You should go," I said. She looked like she wanted to argue, to plead, but in the end, she just walked past me, out into the night. I closed the door behind her and locked it. For the first time since everything started, I felt truly alone and free. The next morning, the messages started again. Only this time, they weren't just from Ava, Daisy, Lauren. Even people I barely knew were flooding my inbox. "You're overreacting. It was just one mistake. You're really going to throw your marriage away over this?" I ignored them all. I knew what was happening. Ava had started spinning her version, the one where she was the heartbroken wife who made a mistake, and I was the cold, unyielding husband who abandoned her. But I didn't care. Truth doesn't need defense when you stop seeking approval. Ryan called again that afternoon. "You holding up?" he asked. "Better than expected." There was a pause, and then he said, "You know Ava's staying with her parents, right? Caroline's been trying to do damage control, telling everyone you had a midlife crisis or something." I laughed for the first time in days. "Let them think what they want," I said. "I'm not playing that game." That evening I sat on the beach, beer in hand, watching the sun dip into the ocean. The air was cool, salty. Couples were walking hand in hand. I should have felt bitter. Instead, I felt blank, empty, but clean, like a slate wiped bare. Ava had texted me one last time earlier that day. "Please, Arthur, I'll do anything. Just talk to me, please." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I deleted it without answering. Some endings don't need speeches. They just need silence. I watched the horizon until the sun was gone, until the sky turned the deep navy of the coming night. Tomorrow, I'd drive back to Ryan's, start sorting through what came next. But tonight, I would just sit here, letting the old life drift away with the tide. Over the next couple of days, I found a lawyer and filed for divorce. No announcements, no fights, just paperwork and silence. A week later, I was in Ryan's backyard, helping him fix the old fence that had been leaning for years. It felt good. Hands dirty, sun beating down, muscles aching from actual work. Simple. Honest. My phone buzzed on the workbench. I wiped my hands on my jeans and checked it. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was Caroline, Ava's mother. "Arthur," she said softly, "I'm sorry to bother you. I thought you should know. Ava's not doing well." I stayed silent. "She's seeing a counselor," Caroline continued. "She's staying with us for now. She regrets everything." "I'm sure she does," I said calmly. There was a long pause. "She still hopes you'll talk to her, even just once." I looked out across the yard where Ryan was hammering a board into place. "I'm not angry," I said finally, "but there's nothing left to talk about." Caroline's voice broke a little. "I understand. I'm sorry." I hung up without saying anything else. That night, I wrote a short email to the few mutual friends who still hadn't picked a side. "Thank you for respecting my space. I wish Ava the best, but my life is moving forward without her. Please don't contact me about her again." Simple. Final. I changed my number 2 days later, moved into a small place on the other side of town. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. No shared closets, no staged photos on the walls, just space, just peace. There were nights when memories crept in, sure. Ava laughing in the kitchen, her singing off-key in the car, tiny ghosts. But they didn't hurt anymore. They were just echoes. By the time our second anniversary rolled around, what would have been, I barely noticed the date. Life had already moved past her. And the funny thing? It wasn't revenge. It wasn't anger. It was freedom. The kind you don't even realize you're missing until you finally taste it. Thank you for watching.